Dusk settled. Heavy purple clouds hung low. The old Victorian house loomed, a silhouette against the dying light. Thomas and Sarah, young and hopeful, pulled their car up the long drive. Gravel crunched under tires. Silence greeted them. Silence, and a stillness that felt like watching. They stood on the porch, shadows stretching towards the heavy oak door. Thomas, ever optimistic, smiled and squeezed Sarah's hand. "Our new home," he whispered. The house smelled of dust and time. Sunlight, weak and hesitant, filtered through thick velvet curtains, illuminating motes of dust dancing in the air. The air hung heavy, thick with the weight of unseen things. Elaborate woodwork, dark and polished, lined the walls. Each room seemed to hold its breath, waiting. Sarah ran a hand along the cold, smooth banister. "It's beautiful," she said, her voice a hushed whisper in the stillness. Even her own voice sounded different here, as if the house itself were listening. The days grew shorter. Shadows lengthened, snaking across the floorboards like living things. The house creaked and groaned around them, settling into the cold. At night, whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, soft, unintelligible murmurs that faded as soon as they turned their heads to listen. One evening, Sarah swore she saw a figure standing at the top of the stairs, a fleeting glimpse of darkness that vanished when she blinked. Thomas, ever pragmatic, dismissed it as a trick of the light. An antique mirror hung in their bedroom. Ornate, silver-framed, it seemed to watch Sarah with a life of its own. One night, catching her reflection, she noticed something strange. Her smile in the mirror. It didn't reach her eyes. It stayed fixed, a grotesque parody of happiness, while her real eyes reflected growing fear. She turned away, heart pounding. When she looked back, her reflection was normal. Had she imagined it? Or was the house playing tricks on her mind? Section 5, a chilling discovery. Days turned into weeks. The strange occurrences continued. Objects moved without explanation. A book Sarah could have sworn she'd left on the table was found tucked away on a high shelf. One afternoon, exploring the attic, they discovered a hidden room. Inside, a dusty diary lay open on a small, cobweb-covered table. The faded ink spoke of a family driven mad by the house, of whispers that drove them to unspeakable acts. The final entry, scrawled in frantic handwriting, spoke of a darkness consuming them. Fear turned to dread. Sarah found herself talking to the walls, answering the whispers she swore she didn't hear. Her reflection in the mirror grew increasingly distant, her eyes taking on a hollow, haunted look. Thomas, once so sure, now moved through the house with a haunted look in his eyes. He too heard the whispers now, felt the unseen gaze upon them. He tried to convince Sarah to leave, but she just smiled, a chilling, empty smile that sent shivers down his spine. "We can't leave," she whispered, her voice a raspy whisper. "This is our home now." The house pulsed around them, a living, breathing entity. The shadows deepened, taking on shapes that slithered just at the edge of their vision. Sarah, her eyes now black as night, pressed her hand against the wall, her touch leaving a trail of frost on the wallpaper. "We belong here," she murmured, her voice echoing with an unnatural resonance. "The house accepts us." Thomas watched in horror as Sarah, now a stranger to him, walked towards the antique mirror. Her lips moved, forming words he couldn't hear. She reached out, her touch leaving icy streaks on the glass. Then, she stepped through. The mirror returned to normal, reflecting nothing but the empty room and Thomas's terrified face. He was alone. The house had claimed Sarah, consumed her, leaving behind only a chilling emptiness. He fled, leaving behind the house that waited, its hunger momentarily satiated. But the house always waits. And somewhere, trapped within its depths, Sarah waits too. Her eyes, black and empty, stare out from every reflective surface in the house, forever watching, waiting for the next soul to claim. The house that waits will always claim its due,